Everyone, thank you very much for giving me a chance to give a little bit of my project work. The title today is Identification of Chandang wood by using HPLC fingerprints. You see, in Thai traditional herbal formulas, usually they not use a single plant, but they always use a formula. And it's always composed of many kinds of herbs. And one of the most frequently used components are Chandang wood. The indication of this kind of herbs are antipyretics and anti-inflammatory and cardiotonics. This is appear in the Thai Herbal Pharmacopoeia Volume 4, page 27. Define Chandang as Terrorization Issue. However, there's some confusing because Chandang is a common name for another kind of herbs, Dracena raleigh. The people also call it Chandang. Now we go to the Terrorization Issue belong to the family of Leguminosae, but nowadays they change the family to Fabaceae. You see, I'm not a cognosy, I'm not good in pharmacognosy, but I'm analytical chemistry. So that some information about the pharmacog may be not very strong. The common names are red sandalwood, red sandal, or red santal, and ruby wood. It's found naturally in the southern part of India. However, this kind of herb is in the endangered species list by IUCN. So, not surprised if the price is very high and maybe not easy to get this kind of plants. So, this is raises the question that I would like to find out that the Chandang wood marketed in the herbal shop in Bangkok is Terrorization Issue or Dracena raleigh. Both of them have the homonym. They call it the Chandang. Both they call Chandang. And the dry wood powder also have the red color. This is something I copy from our Thai Herbal Pharmacopoeia Volume 4. This is a Thai Chandang. And the category as antipyretics, anti-inflammatory, or cardiotonics. The constituents mostly are xanthine A and xanthine B, and it may contain some isoflavone, a small amount of volatile oil, triterpene, and stearol. This is the picture I also copy from the Thai Pharmacopoeia. And I have never seen them because it's not our local plant. This is the wood. You can see this is wood, and it have a red color. This is the TLC fingerprint in the Thai Herbal Pharmacopoeia as well. The chromatographic condition, the mobile phase consists of 50 volume of hexane, 50 volume of ethylstate, and 2.5 volume of methanol. The plate coated with cigar gel GL254. You see, this is they separate to 3 columns. Each column detected with a different method. The first column detected with ultraviolet light at the wavelength of 254 nanometers. The second column, this one, was detected with ultraviolet light at the wavelength of 366 nanometers. When the third column was sprayed with anisaldehyde test solution. Now we move to another Chandang. This is for the local people, they call Chandang as well. And it's a Dracena raleigh cabinet. This is also a copy from the Thai Herbal Pharmacopoeia Volume 4, page 56. This is In Thai pharmacopoeia they call it lakachan, they not call it chandang, they call it lakachan. That's why the people confusing. The category also antipyretics and anti-inflammatory. The constituents mostly are flavonoids such as lauryl A, lauryl B, stevinoid and steroid. And this is the picture of the Dracaena lauryl. I think that they also have a lot in Malaysia as well as in Thailand. It's a local plant. You can find it. We can find it in the mountains, especially with the carbonated mountains. And in Thailand now, many people they have this kind of plant decorate in their gardens. It's for the decoration. And this is the wood of the Dracaena lauryl. You can see that if for the macroscopic method, you just have a look visual. You can see the different, very different. It's not look the same. But when it go to the powder, then it's different because both have a red powder. And this also the TLC fingerprint for Dracaena lauryl. They use the same chromatographic condition, but the fingerprint are some different. But for me, for myself, I'm the HPLC expert. I don't like TLC, for my honest, because it's not easy for me to see the separate compounds here. The aim of this study is to investigate the species of chandang wood marketed in the herbal shop located in Bangkok by using the HPLC fingerprint. Now you see, not only I don't like TLC, don't like the TLC method, but I also have some basic knowledge for you. For the herbal, if for the fresh herb, usually we can just have a look and to see the leaf, the petal, the flower, something like that for identify the plants. But for the dye wood or dye product, dye herb, it's not easy because usually you can identify by use a macroscopic, as I said, that just to see the appearance. To use a let know. It's just organoleptic method such as the taste and the smell and maybe the texture, the color. That some herbs you can do that. But for in detail, mostly they use a microscopic method. Use a microscope to look for the powder, to see the cells, to the some particular small things in the cells, something like that. That need an expert to do it. I'm not good at all about that. I'm very far from that area about the microscopic method. And you also can use the chemical method. The chemical method, I may say that it can you can use a colorimetry method. The colorimetry method is good. It's really rapid to find out, but however, it's lack of sensitivity and it's also lack of the selectivity. You can be able to investigate the group of the compound, but you cannot separate for each compound. That's the weak point for the colorimetry method. You also can use a TLC method, as I said before, that you can separate. However, but if the analyst, if lack of the expertise, you may not able to separate the compounds. Cannot separate is as a beautiful fingerprint, and also is an inconsistency. For the third method, you may use the instrument for identification, such as gas chromatography. Gas chromatography is good for the volatile substance. However, if your compound is easily to degraded by the heat, then you cannot use gas chromatography. The best may be the LCMS. However, the LCMS is very expensive, and we have none in my faculty. Now, so my best choice is to use the HPLC. That's why I chose the HPLC in this project. The HPLC also good to identify all the phytochemicals constituent in the herb. And this can bring you to do some of the quality control in the herb as well, because you can measure each compound. If your resolution is good, you can measure each compound and you can bring to, finally you can get the quality control because it can give you sensitivity, selectivity, and maybe some accuracy and precision. For the DNA fingerprint, I'm not, now many people they use the DNA fingerprint for identification. But I think the DNA fingerprint is maybe good just for identification, but cannot lead to the quality control of the products. Now, you see, because I'm not a pharmacognosy, so I don't know the plants, so I need someone to help me. He is Associate Professor Supachai Tiyavolanan. He's in the Pharmacognosy Department, Faculty of Pharmaceutical Science, Khon University. He provided me with the authentic sample of Terrorization santalinus and Dracena lolili. He have previously identified this both to her for me. Follow the Thai herbal pharmacopoeia using a microscopic and macroscopic method. So I'm sure that his standard gave to me is reliable, that I can use as a standard. For the samples, I purchased 6 samples from the wholesale herbal shop in Bangkok, the big one, the wholesale one. They are quite maybe about 6 about 6 wholesale, because I go to every shop that they sells the herbal products. Some product that I got is in the powder form. In the powder form, not as a wood, so I cannot use a microscopic. I cannot use a macroscopic method. And some I can get as a wood. So after that, I have to ground into powder and kept in dry press before analysis. This is not my sample, but this is the standard that Professor Supachai gave to me. You see, this is the Tercanipus, and this is the Dracena. And you see, when it ground to powder, you cannot tell the difference between these two. That's why for the Thai traditional formula, the people who compound it, when they go to the shop, they just buy the chandang. When they go to ask for chandang, and the shop gave them the powder like this, they will never know what the difference between these two. So this project, I want to know that all the shop they sell chandang. What is the chandang of in the market? This is the sample and standard preparation. 100 milligram were accurately weighed. 10 milliliters of methanol were added and then mixed maybe several times a day by vortex mixer. For 5 days, kept in room temperature. The extract was filtered through 0.45 micron Teflon syringe filter. and I use 10 microliters were injected into an HPLC. The equipment, our equipment, the high performance liquid chromatography, we use a Shimatsu system equipped with 3 high pressure pump, a vacuum degasser, an auto sampler, and column oven, a diode array detector. All were controlled with a CBM 28 system controller. And the data was manipulated via lab solution software provided by Shimatsu Japan. And this is a lot of letter. I don't think that you like it. I also don't like it. but you see, it's just easily. I will say that the chromatographic separation was performed at 30 Celsius because we have a column oven. See, so easy to set temperature. The room temperature is changed, so I want to keep it constant. If the temperature constant, then we can get the consistency of the retention time of the chromatogram. And the mobile phase, this is the column. I use a hyperseal ODS analytical column. The internal diameter is 4 mm and the length is 250 mm and the particle size 5 micron with a guard column. Don't forget to use a guard column for your analytical if you want to work in this field, because there are so many rubbish inside. And go to the mobile phase. The mobile phase consists of 3 solutions. The solution A is 0.05% phosphoric acid in water. Solution B is 3% tetahydrofuran in methanol. And solution C is 3% tetahydrofuran in acetonitrile. The initial composition was 60% solution A, 5% solution B, and 35% solution C. You see, the whole running process, I kept the solution B constant at the 5%. So at the time 0 to 15 minutes, you just use the initial composition. But when the time change to 15 minutes to 23 minutes, then you just decrease solution B, solution A, and then increase solution C, and just do the same things. But you see, every time program, it will give you some better resolution of the compounds. Don't forget that on the herbal, there are so many compounds. Sometimes this one is not so bad. This one is maybe just fine, about less than 20 compounds. But some plants, some herb, it may be up to 30. It depends on your compounds. And but I start to decrease. The highest of solution C is I use 95% C at the time of 40 minutes. And after that, just decline the polarity. The stop time was set at 45 minutes. It means that one of your separation is take about, one injection is take 45 minutes. And we also need sometimes to lower, to equilibrate the initial to the initial composition. So it maybe take about 1 ounce for 1 injection. The flow rate was set at 1 ml per minute. Now, well, after this, you see this the gradient program. This is something that after test and try for many times, then we get this program. But so this is able to separate the Darsina reliably. After that we got the chromatogram. The next thing that we have done is to overlay the chromatogram from Terrorization, Santalinus, and Darsina reliably, and investigate the difference and the similarity of the pattern. The pattern here, you may call it fingerprint. Then the HPLC fingerprint of the sample were then compared against the standard. The result. Now we got the result. Now you can see this picture. I'm sorry, this picture I chose magnified, but the time to prepare this slide I forgot. You can see that this is the figure A is from Terrorization Issue, and the figure B is from Darsina Lolai. It's a different. Both are different. This is here. Yeah, it's easily to see the difference if you overlay both of the chromatogram. The dashed line is from the Terrorization, and the solid line is from the Darsina Lolai. Now you can see the difference. None of none of the peak appear at the same detention time, except one. This one, the final one. The final one, both are just appear at the same retention time. So after that, I just wonder that this compound from these two chromatogram could be the same compound. So I just confirm, maybe just investigate. Use the UV spectrum because we use the adult array. It's easy to get the spectrum. Now we find that sample. This is Terrorization and this from Darsina Lolai. At the time of about 24, you can see that just the same. So I'm quite sure, very sure that both compounds are the same compounds. At least these two plants have one thing in common, is have a one same compounds. And this one is from the samples. Now we can distinguish between the two plants, and after that we just overlay. We just investigate our chromatogram obtained from our sample to see the similarity of our sample compared to the standard. And we found that all the sample, the chromatogram just have the same pattern as a Darsina Lolai, just the same. However, you see, this is I compare individual samples with the Darsina Lolai. Although some samples have appear some biodiversity, such as this one, you see, this is have some extra compound, but this is common for the natural products. But this also a bit different, you see, not a bit. This one quite different. But however, all the rest just are the same. Maybe the ratio of the component, maybe amount, level maybe better. Level may be different. This is for many things. This is biodiversity. Maybe from the age of the wood, maybe from the temperature and etc. so on. So now I go to the conclusion. my talk is quite short. It's maybe I maybe conclude that the Jandang wood marketed in the wholesale shop located in Bangkok are the Darsina Lolai. I'm not surprised about this because the price of Darsina Lolai is very cheap. It cost me about only 25 baht per kilogram. But I cannot find any of the Terrorization. So this is maybe, I'm not sure that the Thai herbal pharmacopoeia, they still call Jandang, called Terrorization as Jandang. But for the local people, they all call this one as a Jandang. However, The efficacy of Thai traditional herbal formula contain Dracaena lorei may be different from that contain Terrorization santalinus. You see, if the user Jandang, but if a different herbal, the efficacy may be different. But two of them, the indication of two of them are antipyretic and anti-inflammatory. So I'm not sure that what could affect the efficacy. But now anyway, we cannot find the Terrorization santalinus in our market, so I'm not worried anymore about this. Another for conclusion, another finding is both Dracaena lorei and Terrorization santalinus. They have one compound in common, just the same, has the same retention time and same UV spectrum. However, for this compound should be confirmed by other methods such as user LCMS, but we have none, so I can do nothing. I just so we also find out that among samples show biodiversity, either some different compounds, maybe have some addition component, or the level of the component which is the common found in natural products. Thank you very much. Another thing is for the student is you can use the HPLC special for something like this. You can help you a lot for identification of the plants, and your projects may be more solid. You see, things. In fact, my expert is on the biomedical analysis. I just analyze the compound in the biological fluid, something like that. So when I work on the plants, is maybe easier. However, just only the separation that needs some effort, some time to try to separate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Associate Professor Dr. Jinda Wongboonskul. We would like to invite Prof Khairul to present a token of appreciation to Associate Professor Dr. Jinda Wongboonskul. Please welcome. Thank you, Associate Professor Dr. Jinda and Prof Khairul.
Now the program will continue with the next speaker, Professor Dr. Arun. Now the program will continue with the next speaker, Professor Dr. Arun Jinda Wongboonskul. He is a senior lecturer for the Division of the Pharmaceutical Care Faculty of Pharmacy, Thammasat University. He is the holder of the PhD Pharmacology at the College of Medicine, University of Illinois in United States. Pharmacy honors at College of Medicine, University of Illinois in United States. B.Pharm at Chulalongkorn University in Thailand. Title to be presented is Hospital Pharmacist, Intention to Consult Physician on Drug-Related Behavior, a study based upon the theory of the plant behavior. Please welcome Professor Dr. Arun for his lecture.
Good morning, and thank you for the organizing committee for having me here. It's been a great honor to be here at the symposium. Yes, you isn't it wrong. My training is in pharmacology, but when I come back to Thailand, my country needs a lot more clinical teachers. So I give myself toward clinical training, taking care of people and doing research in clinical and social science. And that's why you see the title of my talk today, Hospital Pharmacist's Intention to Consult Physician on Drug-Related Problems. This study is based on the theory of planned behavior. Let me know if any of you doing research in clinical or social science. Just to let me know that who I'm talking to. Any of you at all? Oh, Dr. Muhammad. Okay, I'm glad. Thank you. Yes, it's not difficult. It's not easy for me to do this type of research, but nothing is harder than your effort to to learn. And thank you very much for inviting me to share my experience with you guys. Let's start with the introduction. Pharmacists has important roles in taking care of patients. According to the WHO report, pharmacists need to interact closely with the prescribers and promote rational prescribing and use of drugs. And we need to monitor and assess the pattern of drug usage. And in case we find any drug-related problems, we need to correct them by consulting your physicians. And my graduate students and I, we are wondering why pharmacists are not consulting physicians sometimes when they found drug-related problems. And this becomes the research. In order for us to communicate and consult with the physician, we need to communicate with the physicians. But looking at the study in the past, we found that pharmacists and physicians often rated their communication as poor quality. They do not perceive that they communicate well with each other. And we see that as a problem in working together with the physicians. Pharmacists are often viewed as a police more than colleagues. That's one of the problems that we see in the literature. And another problem could be that the pharmacy locations are often isolated from the patient care units and the clinics. So that could be a barrier to communication between physician and the pharmacist. Having known that, we are trying to look into the literature to see whether there is any study looking at the behavior of the pharmacist in consulting with the physician. We found a study reported in the US in a community pharmacy setting, looking at the pharmacist's activity with consultation with the physician, and we find that the score for the activity was 3.4 from 5, which is about moderate, not very high. Another study in community pharmacy setting also, the pharmacist report a moderate intention to consult the physician on drug-related problems. That score is 5.3 from 7, but we found no report in hospital settings. And here comes the study why we think that it's really interesting to see the behavior of the pharmacist, what determine the factors pharmacists consult their physicians. The conceptual framework that we have chosen to study this project is a theory of planned behavior. We have chosen this theory because this theory has been used in many studies to study the behavior of the healthcare professionals, including physicians, nurses, and pharmacists. In Thailand, one of my colleagues have used this theory to study the behavior of the pharmacists in making decisions to prescribe antibiotics and to do a lot of things like labeling the medication bottle. So I decided to use this theory as a framework for this study. In case not many of you are used to the theory, let me give you some introduction. This theory interested in determining the behavior. So what determines the behavior is the intention. So by this theory, when you have behavioral intention, you are going to show your behavior. So what determines the intention? According to this theory, whether you will perform the behavior, it depends on your attitude toward the behavior. Attitude means you like or dislike about that behavior. When you like or dislike the behavior, you need to have a belief about the behavior, and you have to weigh that with your evaluation. That's the outcome evaluation. The second factor is to meet the intention is the subjective norms. To put it simply, subjective norms are your perception of how your important others want you to do the behavior. Let's say our colleagues want us to do the behavior or not. Or how is your professional organization want you to do the behavior. The third factor, which is added later on in 1991, is the perceived behavioral control. Perceived behavioral control, or for short, perceived control, is your perception of how difficult or easy to do the behavior. You think of it as a facilitators or barriers to perform the behavior. If you think it's so many barriers, then you don't have intention to do the behavior. And perceived behavioral control can directly affect the behavior. According to this framework, so here come the aims of my study. We like to determine Thai pharmacist's intention, one of the factors in the TPB model, attitude, subjective norms, and perceived control toward consulting physician on drug-related problems. And secondly, we want to identify factors predicting Thai pharmacists' intention to consult physician on drug-related problem. If we know all these factors, so we can do the intervention to affect their behavior. That's the ultimate goal. So the method. This is a cross-sectional survey research. And we developed a structured questionnaire to measure the construct in the TTB theory. After we have constructed the questionnaire, we then mail 366 questionnaire to the head of the hospital pharmacists in 9 provinces in the lower northern region of Thailand. The hospital that we mail the questionnaire to include district hospitals, which are a smaller hospital. Like usually they don't contain more than 100 beds, inpatient beds. General hospitals, regional hospital, and university hospital. The variables we are interested in include the pharmacist demographics, their age, their genders, their education. We like to know their intention to consult on drug-related problems. This was measured based on patient case scenarios. And we like to know the attitude. We have to measure the attitude, the subjective norms, and the perceived behavioral control. And you will see later on how we measure it. For the intention to consult physicians, we wrote up 6 case scenarios, and then we measure that intention to consult the physicians on a 7-point rating scale from highest intention to the lowest intention. The case scenarios that we write up is cardiovascular diseases. So there are drug-related problems commonly found in cardiovascular diseases. For the attitude, subjective norms, and perceived control, we also we write an items questionnaire items based on a 7-point rating scale. And we asked them whether they strongly agree to strongly disagree with the statement in the questionnaires. For data analysis, the score on the items of intention, attitude, subjective norms, and perceived control was summed for each participant. We have more than one item, so we have to sum all of them. And then we average the score to represent all the overall score of the whole sample. We also use multiple linear regression to identify factors that predict the intention to consult the physician on documented problems. All the data analysis was conducted with SPSS. Of 366 questionnaire mail, we received 236 questionnaire back, but only 232 of these were analyzed. 4 of them lacked a lot of data, so we decided to discard them from analysis. So the response rate is about 65%. So these are the baseline characteristics of the study participants. The majority of them are female. It's about 75%. So this is consistent with the observation that there are more female pharmacy graduates than male graduates. I don't know if it's the same in Malaysia also? The same? Okay. The average is about 32, and 61 of them are between 31 to 40 years old. So they have been working for a while. A lot of them obtained a bachelor degree, about 60%, and 40% have a PharmD or master degree, and one of them has a PhD. And this one has a lot of comments on the questionnaire for me. Yeah, good. It's good. About the workplace, the majority of them, 70%, they work in the district hospitals, and 20% working in general hospital, and only 7% working in a regional hospital. The regional hospital is the sophisticated hospital providing care to very difficult cases, and we did not mail a lot to them. In terms of number of years working as hospital pharmacists, a lot of them, about 40%, has experienced more than 10 years. So these are the intention to consult their physicians. As I already mentioned, we wrote out 6 cases. They are documented problem in cardiovascular diseases. And we asked them whether you will consult your physicians based on these case scenarios. So these are the results. The score for each case scenario, the score will range from 1 to 7. I believe you can imagine like the rating scale from 1 to 7, from highest intention to lowest intention. If they have a highest intention, we will give them like 7 points. If they have the lowest intention, we give them 1 point. And then we average them for the whole sample. And for the first case, for example, a 67-year-old male with diabetes and hypertension who had not yet received aspirin to prevent cardiovascular diseases. So this is one example of documented problem. When you have indication for medication, but you did not receive the medication yet, would you consult your physicians? And the average point is 4.83, which I consider it to be like moderate intention. And the other cases are different documented problems. Like the second case, when the patient is not adherent to their medication, are you going to consult your physician, or are you going to let it go? What about if you are 65 years old? If you have a patient who is 65 years old with DM and hypertension, and that blood pressure is not very well controlled, would you consult your physician, or you just let it go? And these are the score we obtain from our samples. So when the score is high, it means they have higher intention to consult their physicians. And you can see that all the score the pharmacists reported are over 5. So overall, about 62%. So what I did is that we sum up all the score and then average them. And then we categorize the answer into low, moderate, and high intention. The low score is from 6 to 18. The moderate is 18 to 30, and the highest is 30 to 42, because we have 6 questions, and the maximum score for each question is 7, so the maximum score is 42. We found that Thai pharmacists, based on our questionnaire, the 62% of them have a high intention. So we are glad to see that. But I don't know whether that's will be the real behavior of the pharmacists, because it's based on the questionnaire. About the attitude, we measure the attitude about consulting physician based on the statement that we created. Like, consulting physicians on dilated problem is good. Consulting physician on dilated problem is invaluable. This is a negative statement, so we have to revert the score before we sum them. Or consulting physician on dilated problem should be promoted. So this is how we measure the attitude toward the behavior. And we found that a lot of pharmacists, Thai pharmacists, about 94%, have positive attitude toward the behavior. In terms of scientific norms, the question that we are using, like, is it expected of me that I should consult physician when I encounter dilated problems? Or people who are important to me think that I should consult physician when I encounter dilated problem. And these are the score. The higher the score means that their perception is that they should consult the physician based on other expectations. They want to comply with other expectations on the behavior. And we observe about half subjective norm is lie in moderate, and another half is in high subjective norms. About the perceived behavioral control, the statement is like, I am confident to consult physician when I encounter dilated problems, or is it difficult for me to consult physician when I encounter dilated problems? Consulting physician on dilated problem is under my control. This one is a negative statement, so we revert the score first before we sum up the score. And the higher, it means that they perceive that it's not difficult for them to perform the behavior. And we observe about 50% perceive that there's moderate difficulties in performing the behavior. The last slide is when I obtain all the measurements, I put into the multiple linear regression analysis. We found that years of education significantly predict intention. The p-value is less than 0.05. And the attitude and the subjective norms also predict intentions, but the perceived control was not, which is very unexpected for us. But however, the results show that only attitude and subjective norms are predictors of the intention, which is consistent with other study, a lot of study that show that according to the TPB, a lot of attitudes and subjective norms are predictors of the intention to perform the behavior. So important findings in this study about Thai pharmacists, they reported high intention to consult physicians on that related problems. They have a high positive attitude toward consulting the physicians. They perceive that important others want them to perform the consultation, and they perceive moderate to high control over their behavior. And two factors that we identify that affect or predict the intention are the attitudes and subjective norms. This study has certain limitations, of course, and every study has limitations. This study has a cross-sectional design, so we can study only the association between the variables. We like to do a prospective study because we want to change their attitude, norms, and perceived control, and to see whether their intention will change. But it will be very difficult to do that. So we can study only cross-sectional study, which has a limitation in terms of the causal effect relationship. In this study, only the pharmacist's intention was measured, but actually the intention is not the factor that we are interested in. We're really interested in their behavior in consulting physicians. So we measure only intention. Intention may not translate into the behavior. So that's one of the limitations. Using the direct measurement of the TPB constructs, direct measurement is when you ask the question like, do you like or dislike the behavior? But if you indirectly measure them, you need to ask them about the belief and their evaluation about the behaviors. Doing that, you can know the underlying belief that could be targeted for behavioral change. But for this study, for the part of the study that I presented to you, we use only direct measurement, so you cannot really tell what are the underlying beliefs affecting the intention. Another problem with this type of research is the social desirability. It may influence the response bias, because I believe that a lot of pharmacists will say, yes, I have intention, but in reality, they may not have intention, or they may not act the way they tell us. So it could be a problem too. And it's a pity that the majority of the intention in the present study can be explained. The variance in the study can be explained by the TB variables by only 15%. So there are about 85% of the variance that cannot be explained by this theory. So there must be a lot of factors affecting their intention that we cannot really know what they are. And finally, the terrorization issue. Because we conduct this study in the lower northern region of Thailand, we believe that pharmacists in Thailand act pretty much alike. But however, we sample only the 9 provinces in the country. So we're still concerned about the generalization issue. But we believe that our study is generalizable somehow. In conclusion, in the present study, pharmacists possess strong intention to consult physicians on drug-related problem. And thus, the approach to increase the pharmacist's intention to consult the physician on drug-related problem should be aimed at promoting positive attitudes and their perception of social pressure toward consulting the physicians. Because the study shows us that 2 factors that affect intention are attitudes and subjective norms. And finally, I'd like to thank my graduate student and my collaborators. She's my graduate student who did a lot of this study, who performed most of the study, Subject Chocha Suwatana and Jirapala Sap, and my colleagues, Hiderat, Kunjida, and Kechan, for their assistance on research. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Dr. Arun Jacinda Mada, for the lecture just now. Please stay on the stage. I would like to invite Associate Professor Dr. Karanam Sen to present a souvenir token of appreciation to Professor Dr. Arun. Thank you, Professor Dr. Arun and Associate Professor Dr. Karana. Ladies and gentlemen, now it's time for a tea break. We would like to invite all the participants to proceed to the foyer of this lecture hall for the refreshments. And for the guests and the staff, please proceed to the dining hall next to the cafeteria. We will continue our program at 10:30 a.m. at this lecture hall, so please come back again by 10:25 a.m. Thank you.
Sorry, I'm a bit late when you give your salary because the traffic jam is very, very bad today.
Clinical pharmacy.
So it's more in tune, you know, the way
The pharmaceutical analysis is different.
Any suggestion on my?
No, it's good, but I'm not sure about the numbers of questions. For the parameter is too little. I just want to see very small to be the construct. But I'm not really the expert in survey because I do survey, but it's part of some other research. Because some of my other colleagues that are more expert because they are PhD on that particular area, so they are more better than that.
So you mostly working on the drug utilization?
Drug utilization, clinical trials.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, clinical trials.
That's great.
Come.
Environment friendly.
Ajan อะไรเหรอแล้วเดี๋ยวเราก็ไปชวนภรรยากัน